I'm Audrey Hope. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Hope for Relationships. I am the Soul Love Healer, and today we're going to hear from Amy from Illinois, who wants to know, why do people really use drugs? So please join me. Healing is so unbelievably simple. You do what needs to be done, and that's it. Over, problem solved. Join me so we can heal all our issues from the deep level of the soul and save years and years of therapy. Amy writes to me, I went into rehab and they taught me all about drugs and what it does to my body and brain, but I want to do real healing. I swear I just left rehab and I don't know why I use. Can you help me? Amy, you have to explore this issue because you have to know why you use drugs. And I personally have sat with addicts for, over 20 years. I have to tell you that you can get stuck in the diagnosis. I am an alcoholic, I am a drug addict, and you can stay there and even get the benefit of that. But that's not going to heal. As I said before in a previous show, it's not about the diagnosis. It's not about the fact that your parents used and it runs in your family, because sooner or later you're going to have to do the work on your soul, which is why we're all here. So let's get to it. Why do people really use drugs? Okay, beyond the doctors, beyond everything. It has to do with, number one, the voice. And I mean that on every level. Something you never said, something you had to say. Maybe it's your rage coming out, that you got locked inside of you, and that also is your voice. Maybe you never told someone, a parent, a relative, what you really wanted to say, and so your voice, it got stuck in your own body. And so that is why the truth sets you free. Because in healing, simply letting it out, simply saying it, simply expressing it, heals it. So that is the voice. Another thing is some practical reasons why people use, as funny as it sounds, is too much money. Sometimes there's just too much money rolling around in the family, and the person, the child, whoever it is, never learned the value of earning something on their own. So life becomes very difficult. There's also the matter of being spoiled, having too much, and never learning how to cope with life. And then, of course, there's trauma. And here's the thing. Drugs can be the lifesaver. If you've had a lot of trauma in your childhood, it can actually keep you here. It can actually be a present from God, because otherwise you would have left, because there's sometimes too much pain. But the thing is, with too much pain on a spiritual level, you're given a lot. You have a lot of things to do in that lifetime. And sometimes when you have a lot in a lifetime, when you feel overwhelmed and you have too many problems, it's a sign that you are on a real spiritual path. And what you must do is acknowledge it, that you came here and you took on a lot of classes, you took on a lot of issues, and you wanted to do it all at once, especially in this amazing time period. This is a very spiritual time period, and a lot of us have taken on a lot. So when you have trauma and you have that deep loss of soul at a young age, you're taken out. And so if you're taken out, it's a sign that you have to do a lot to get back. So trauma and pain is also, on a soul level, is also a sign that there is much for you to do in this lifetime. Another reason that people use, for women, no self-esteem. I have not met a woman yet who didn't have self-esteem issues and some loss of themselves. And oftentimes they take the hit. They take the hit for someone. And for men, it's the emotions. Men do not express themselves, they're not allowed, and so they often find themselves in rehab very much later in life, when they have the money, the cars, the family, but they didn't take care of what they needed to, because they didn't know how to let issues out of their body, to talk about it. I've had a lot of men, and I've said this before, what is an emotion? They're not allowed to say it. And so simply, again, letting it out and talking about it without shame is very healing. Another reason why people use is shame and guilt, and this idea in religion of eternal punishment. It is so big in drug addiction, and no one really talks about it. There's so much guilt. You feel so bad about what you've done, and you feel there's no way out. So you have the F-its, the fuck-its. I might as well use, because God's never going to let me into heaven, right? So I might as well use. So that's another reason. And another thing is lying to oneself. I mean, don't we know this? The problem of people lying, but how about lying to oneself? I mean, often with addicts, I feel like there's like a brick wall you have to bulldoze through, or a steel gate, because the addict doesn't even know he's lying to himself. He's so good at it. So that's another issue. And also facing reality. Reality is extremely hard. There's a lot of things. You can't really deal with the fact that your mother did this to you, or your dad did this to you. So you bury it, and you often take on the issues for them, so you don't have to like say to yourself, oh my God, I can't believe that my mom, who should love me, did this. So we take the hit for people, and that's a big reason that people use. So there's so many more, and we will continue to explore this on other shows. But I just want to throw a couple of those ideas out for you, because really in the healing, it has to be a soul issue. Heal the soul, heal the addiction, and that is the marriage to oneself, and to get back into where you cut off from yourself. So that essential, authentic relationship must be healed in all addicts. So thank you for your question. If you have a relationship issue, you can write to me in the comments below, or you can contact me on my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter. The links are in the description box. And don't forget to like and subscribe, so we can continue to heal all our issues from the deep level of the soul and save years and years of therapy. I'm Audrey Hope, and this is Hope for Relationships. Thank you for joining me. Hey, if you like my videos, and I hope you do, then subscribe and click. Are you gonna click? Come on, click here now. Let's go.